Big Drive Energy Live Monday Winner's Circle edition. We have to talk about Scottie Scheffler again, which used to be a common theme discussing winners on the PGA Tour, but it hasn't been in a while. And I'm actually excited to talk about it a little bit, to stick it to a few people or one specific person on our TikTok that basically told us he wasn't a superstar. We don't love the guy, but fucking confirmed superstar.
Call a spade a spade. The dude's the biggest star on the PGA Tour.
Exactly. We're also going to talk about the opposite field event, Puerto Rico Open. Bryce Garnett got a huge win for his career. Something that's not talked about a lot because everybody's watching the Arnold Palmer or watching LIV Hong Kong. But even though probably not a ton of people watching that, only because of the timing. It's always tough to have an event, you know, other than the Open Championship. Nobody watches events that are 3 a.m. Unless it's for your guy, your specific guy, or your friend.
Cam Smith.
Yes.
Our guy.
Well, he's our guy, but he's not like our guy.
He's our guy.
Like, he's not, we don't know him.
Are you going to finish this intro?
Yes. And we're going to shout out Abraham Ancer for his win at said LIV Hong Kong. All right, let's tee it up. Scottie Scheffler back in the winner's circle again. It's been 51 weeks, according to fucking... All right, I got to pull this TikTok out. Talk for a second while I get this guy.
Well, yeah, so Scottie Scheffler wins Arnold Palmer. He's won this golf tournament previously, so I think this is the third time somebody has won multiple Arnold Palmers, joining Tiger and somebody else. I don't remember, but very tough week on the golf course, so it is fitting that Scottie goes out and wins on a very, very challenging course. But let's just be real. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. That golf tournament was a complete snoozer on Sunday. Basically, by the middle of the front nine, you knew that Scottie Scheffler was going to run away with it. At one point, are you laughing about something on our TikTok?
Correct. I'm here.
It's nice that you're a participant also, but it looked like Will Zalatoris was going to run away with the thing, and Spencer was sick because he didn't pick him. So at one point in the middle of Saturday, Zalatoris had it to like 11 under.
Yep. He was 5 rolling.
Yeah, he had the round of the day going on Saturday, just striking the shit out of the ball, making everything with that long wand putter, and then made a few bogeys down the stretch and ultimately faltered on Sunday. And the cream rose to the top with Scottie Scheffler's ball striking. And the putter got hot on the back nine Saturday into Sunday. And that is ultimately the difference. Like, if he is hot with the putter, he's not losing on the PGA Tour. He's just that good tee to green. His ball striking is unbelievable. So, but yes, we had somebody on our TikTok tell us that Scottie Scheffler was not a superstar. And that's just flat out not true at all. So now he's won, 6 times in 3 years?
7. This is his 7th win.
Okay, 7 in 3 years. So if that isn't a superstar, I don't know what is. You know, if you're on pace for 2 wins a season, 2 and a third wins a season as of right now, and I guarantee you he's going to win again this year. That's really without a question. But yeah, the dude is as bona fide of a superstar on the PGA Tour right now as they get.
100%. So here's the comment. This was from a TikTok a couple of weeks ago where you were actually talking about there's no in-between, no middle class of the PGA Tour anymore. And we'll actually get into some comments that a few players that are in the upper class, no shock here, upper class people want only to be around upper class people. But your TikTok was basically describing that the PGA Tour is a bunch of guys that have won a ton and are superstars, or it's journeymen that you've never heard of that are winning for the first time. Now, that doesn't necessarily immediately elevate them to an upper class, but there's a story behind how long it's taken them to get here, et cetera, et cetera. And the best part about this, so this guy's picture is the Don with a fucked up nose, so some type of filter.
Let me see this.
The name is Tainted Meat Beater. So Tainted Meat Beater said, Scottie hasn't won in 51 weeks. Nice take. And I said he's won 6 times in the last 2 seasons. Guarantee he wins another 3 more this season. I think this is actually worth us doing like a reply to the comment.
Should I green screen it today?
Yeah, and just reply to the comment, post that right on TikTok. We're coming for you, tainted meat beater. And then he said his last win was the 23 players 51 weeks ago. Nothing you said disproved that. And I said, your statement was true, and so is ours. He's won an average of 3 times a year since 2022. And tainted meat beater himself actually turned me into liking Scottie Scheffler and rooting for him this weekend to prove a fucking point.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on one side of an argument, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So tainted meat beater is now public enemy number 1, and Scottie Scheffler is our fucking boy. Now, I just look at the guy's face. It's still just a punchable face. Shout out Vic Lombardi. The beard, okay. I know. Dude,
looks so much more likable
because of his beard.
He looks so much more likable with a beard. So much less soft. So much less Buzz Lightyear-y.
Like, just a little bit more manly. Like, we were talking about that yesterday. Like, I don't understand grown men that don't like want to have any facial hair. And if you don't, that's not your fault. Like, I know grown men that can't grow it.
Well,
that's
it's either,
fine.
Yeah. To me, not having facial hair would be because you can't grow it or your job doesn't allow it.
Or you play for the New York Yankees.
Yeah. Or work at Denver Country Club.
Yes. Shout out Corey Thurman. But no, he definitely looks more manly, but he also looks like even more of a frumpy grandpa with his fucking beard than he did before. And then you throw that red Arnold Palmer cardigan on him. And I actually tweeted this. This will go on our tweets that got no love. Actually, it did get a little love, so it can't go on the tweets that got no love. But I was like, he looks like he's about to throw on the Air Monarchs and go for a nice afternoon jaunt through the neighborhood. And that's just the vibe that Scottie gives off in general. Like, you know why he grew or when they asked him about the beard, he said, it's just pure laziness. I'm like, you're such a hardo, dude. You're such a bad boy. Forgot to shave your beard. God, how fucking edgy are you, dude? Go eat your popcorn and watch your Jesus movies on the couch. Like, holy shit. Sorry, I just went a little bit harder than I needed to, but go read your scripture, dude. That just bugs me.
Yeah, the picture of him with the red cardigan on is it's so fitting. And winning the Arnold Palmer Invitational, now he's wore the red cardigan twice, and he is cemented his status as basically the best player on the PGA Tour. Because I think some people, obviously TMB, Tainted Meat Beater, that's what we'll call him, TMB, was questioning it. I do think a lot of other people wondered if it was a flash in the pan type of 2 years, because we've seen that time and time again. And we've seen guys compete at, I mean, we won't dive too deep into Full Swing, but we started watching Full Swing last night, and they're showing Ricky Fowler, and they're talking about Ricky Fowler he was top 5 in all 4 majors, like his second full season on the PGA Tour. So we've seen it time and time again where a player comes, everybody's like, oh my God, we think he's never going to stop coming. And then he stops coming and he goes off into the abyss. And so Scottie, being 51 weeks without a win was a little uncharacteristic of him, but it was due to, everybody knows it. If you don't, the guy can't putt or couldn't putt. And this week, he gained 1.09 strokes on the field putting. He was like 4th or 5th.
What did he gain tee to green? Like 17?
3.
Okay.
For the entire event. But just on Sunday, he gained 3.27 strokes tee to green and 3.68 strokes putting.
Wow.
And
so what I will say, though, is you talked about, players are flash in the pan, they win a time or two, and then they kind of fall off. But the one thing with Scottie Scheffler that sets him apart is his ball striking has been unwavering these last 3 years. Like, he is a premier ball striker in the world. I would say, off the top of your head, let's name our 5 best ball strikers on the PGA Tour / LIV Tour / any tour. Like, gun to your head, you got to name 5 dudes that can hit it out of a paper bag. I'm going Scottie Scheffler, Will Zalatoris, John Rahm. Where am I? I just had another one off the top of my head. I'd say probably Brooks Koepka. Brooksy just hits it so fucking good. And then, who else is on the? Are you gonna contribute anything?
Yeah, I'd say my guys, like Jason Day is one of those guys.
Oh my God, that's disgusting,
dude. The guy you're forgetting what he was.
What I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about 15 years ago. Otherwise, I'd have Phil Mickelson on the list. Like,
oh, shout out to Phil Mickelson shooting fucking 81 the first round of LIV Hong Kong.
on a 70 or a
He was
6,700 yard
the only
course.
player worse than Anthony Kim.
Yeah. Well, dude, AK, we'll get into that, but fired a little 66er, or no, 65. Kyle Metzger, we haven't seen ball striking numbers like this since Tiger. Exactly. The ball striking is been there and it's gonna be there. And honestly, the fact that Scottie's swing is so unique to him is, I think, even more repeatable because it's not just a super generic, one-off swing that everybody else looks like. So I think it's more repeatable to him because it's his own custom, homemade swing that isn't super cookie cutter like a lot of those guys out there. And actually I saw a comment. That was who I was forgetting. Waco Neiman. I think he's a top 5 ball striker in the world right now.
Well, when we're saying right now, do we mean players that are because right now,
holy fuck,
Rory McIlroy in his career is
I'm talking right now,
talking this second
today.
And you mentioned fucking Brooks Koepka,
who he won a major last year.
Yeah, last year.
Okay, I'm talking about as of recent. When's the last time Rory won anything? 2 years ago, 3 years ago. A major 10 years ago. Pipe it down, dude.
Okay, I do.
Do you know what he's the best in the world at is making comments about everybody else playing golf when he should worry about his own fucking golf.
Well, in full swing, they kind of divulged on that, and it turned me a little back onto Rory's side a bit. So
you're turned on to Rory.
I'm slightly back on the train. Okay, how about Tony Finau? Is that a good answer for you?
No,
Tony Finau's not a good ball striker.
He's a good ball striker. Okay,
Xander Schauffele?
No, he hooks the shit out of it. Fucking big pushes, big hooks, just a big pivot stall at the bottom, just stall and flip, old school style. I mean, he does hit it a long ways, but Xander's not up there. I would say Cam Smith is probably closer to being up there. That dude, and you're thinking
but he's like one of the best putters in the world.
But you're thinking results. You're thinking, I'm just talking eye test. Like you watch him swing it, and I guess then you'd put Rory in there.
100%.
But his driving game is unbelievable. Like Rory might go down as the best driver of all time.
Did you see him hit a 401-yard par 4?
Yes, that is the first. Okay, so yeah, on number 10 at Bay Hill, it had never been driven before in the 30-year history of this golf tournament, and Rory did drive it. Actually, could we get that video up of Justin Thomas, Marissa? Sorry to bother you. Just I'm just fucking with you. So Justin Thomas, this different one.
Mitchell's. This is Mitchell's fault because this is
this one. So no, you're fine. But so on Sunday, and it was just very windy all week at the Arnold Palmer, which makes this golf course that much tougher. But these dudes were taking an insane line on number 10 because it is a 400-yard hole. And no, can you scroll down? There we go. So look at where he's aiming right now. The fairway is about 70 yards to the left, and he just hits it. Like, what dipshit stands right there? Like,
good thing this wasn't Grant Horvat. He'd have a hospital bill on his hands.
Bobby Margaritas out there. But yeah, that line is absolutely insane. And that is probably about where Rory aimed on that hole too. So that just kind of goes to show you, it wasn't like crazy 30, 40 mile an hour windy, because then they would have pulled everybody off the golf course because it would have been too hard for them. But it was just windy enough to make them hit it like 380, 400 yards. And yeah, Rory is still a premier driver on the PGA Tour. But dude, if we're going to dip into the full swing talk a little bit, Rory, after the first 2 majors last year, was talking about a full reboot and reset, like a full swing change, a full overhaul. And in all honesty, a little technicality here, but Rory's movement and how deep his hands get around him at the top of the backswing is very effective for driving the golf ball, but it's not very effective. And it's even effective for the long irons. But when your hands are that far around you, and I've watched him hit short wedges and short irons, his hands get way too deep around him, and he ends up swinging too far from the inside. And when you see Rory even hit a quote unquote straight shot, he's hitting a massive push because I guarantee you Rory's path with a short iron is probably 5 degrees inside out if he's aiming straight down his target line. So that is where Rory's struggles really do come from, is his over use of the deep hands. And that's where, I mean, he's played good golf, obviously, from there, but that is what he's ultimately struggling with, is his hands don't get high enough in the top of the backswing, and he's not in a neutral enough spot to get that path enough left or down, even down the line. You know, his path is too far right, especially with the wedges, with the short irons. And that's really, I mean, when you hit it as far as Rory and as straight as Rory, once again, one of the best drivers ever, you're gonna have a lot of flip wedges and a lot of short irons in. So from that mathematical standpoint, he's got the most opportunities, the furthest down in the middle of the fairway. Why is he not winning more? Can you answer me that?
He's probably not good at hitting wedges.
Yeah, wedges and putting. So that is kind of like his full. I just gave a full Rory McIlroy breakdown of why he's struggling. Rory, if you need some help, give me a shout. I'll be cheaper than whatever teacher you got going right now. I'll still charge you a shitload, but I'll quote you right under where your current teacher's at.
Price is Right. The new teacher.
Spin the wheel. What do you? The
Price is Right. Price is Righting him is like going $3.99 when somebody's bets $400.
Okay, I thought you were hitting me with the Bob Barker. The Price is Wrong, bitch.
Oh no, I wouldn't hit you with that. Speaking of putting though, and Rory being a bad putter, Scottie turned into a good putter with some help from Rory. Not necessarily, but there was a few funny tweets around it. Rory a couple weeks ago did say that Scottie should try the mallet putter, and the mallet putter is something that I can identify with. I don't think I'll ever go back to a blade in my life. And I do think there's some staunch people that have played golf for quote unquote, good golf for them for a long time in their lives that have the blade putter and can consistently stick with the blade putter. But I don't think I'll ever go back to a blade as long as I'm trying to play decent golf.
Well, dude, in all honesty, like, I'm not calling Scottie Scheffler stupid, but for him being the best golfer in the world, why does somebody else need to tell you to try a different putter? Like, either you're just that bullheaded or you're that dumb that you've never considered trying a different putter, and you keep trying the same thing over and over and over again and not getting any results. And you wonder why you're putting like shit and you haven't tried anything else. And then Rory all of a sudden tells you to try a mallet and you act like it's this new thing they just invented from outer space, when it's literally been around since the beginning of time. And there is like traditionalists. When we were growing up, there were kids, and there's still dudes that are like, I will never play anything but a blade. And it's dumb because performance-wise, it really gives you zero advantage. It's the same dudes that walk up to the first tee with the blade irons, and you're like, why are you hitting those? And they're like, well, I want to shape it. I'm like, you need to shape it one way, and it's not the way you're shaping it currently. Like, it's just an ego thing. Like, it sounds dumb, but putting with a blade somehow makes people think that they look better than they are. But it really gives you zero advantage to putt with a blade versus a mallet.
100%. Yeah.
It makes no sense.
It's a more consistent stroke. You're getting away with, and I think the biggest thing with Scottie is he's getting away with the mistakes he makes on a simple putt, which is, to the like everyday golfer, it seems insane. And even to me, that's like kind of dabbled in the, the teaching game and obviously trying to help people get better at golf. It does seem insane that you're not hitting the sweet spot on a putter, or your face is so inconsistent on a putting stroke, which is a simple back and through, very small movement. Shouldn't be a lot of room for error. There actually is. And when you get to the level of top PGA Tour player, you have to be even that much more precise. And there's actually a couple funny quotes from the guys who were tied with Scottie Scheffler going into Sunday. One was Wyndham Clark, and he said, it would be borderline unfair if he starts putting really good, said Clark. I never want to wish ill on anybody, but if he starts putting positives each week, it's going to be really hard to beat him. And then Shane Lowry said, there's only probably a couple players in the world that can live with him playing like that. Not sure I'm one of them. I'm obviously just disappointed I didn't put any pressure on him early. And this is where I believe it was the Waste Management this year that Scottie Scheffler, if he pretty much is like a a boomer bust guy. Now he has a ton of top tens. I'm not saying, but when you know he's going to win a tournament when it gets to Saturday, Sunday, and he's up there, and because he's got the aura that everybody like, oh fuck, Scotty's here. You know, and that's why it was shocking this year at the Waste Management, because he was up there. He's going at guys like Nick Taylor, who's a great player, but there's very few players that even have the confidence to go against him one-on-one, much less beat him.
I would say John Rahm is probably one of the only dudes in the world right now. Him, maybe Joaquin Niemann. There's a couple dudes in the world that would feel good about going toe-to-toe with Scottie Scheffler. And I almost feel like it's kind of funny, but Wyndham is like right underneath where Scottie Scheffler is, in my opinion, and obviously still in that top tier of PGA Tour players. But it almost feels like Scotty's like Wyndham's final boss, because he's just such like and we've talked about Wyndham at extent, because we played golf with him in the high school years. But Wyndham has kind of exposed himself as a bit of an asshole at this point. And so to see Scotty like just dominate Wyndham and then be so much nicer than he is and so much like less confrontational is actually funny. I would almost equate Scotty like loosely to Nikola Jokic, because he's just a dude that stays out of the drama, that doesn't really, comment on who should be on tour or how many players should be on tour. And he just goes out and he's more concerned with his own game, like everybody else should be. Rory. Oh God, that actually made me cough. Excuse me. But Scotty's just that dude that just chills, worries about himself, plays really good golf, plays better golf than anybody when he's putting well. And Wyndham's like looking up at Scotty like, God damn it. Like, but let's be real. So can we move on to Wyndham? Are you good with that?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go next.
Okay. So Wyndham's won what, 3 times in the last year? You got it. Like, he's basically a top 5 player in the world right now. And he probably will at one point, depending on how Scotty plays going forward, he might be the number 1 player in the world here in the next, 8 to 12 weeks. But the comments that he made were just out of pocket. And then that comes on the heels of Saturday just acting a complete fool on the golf course. And it was almost like I was having flashbacks to high school and I was watching him fucking freak out. So Marissa, can we pull that video up of Wyndham? And I actually watched this live and it cracked me up. So Wyndham, I think this is on like 11 or 12 on Saturday. He catches a shitty lie in the front area of the green, in a baby divot. And literally, like, if you look at his backswing on the actual hit, he would have been better off taking that big of a backswing that he took on the fucking shot right into the ground. But he takes like a 3/4 or a quarter way back and expects to somehow get that ball to the green. Maybe because he thought it was just going to come out low and running. But that was definitely a tough look for Wyndham. And everybody's been there. Like, everybody has taken a full swing into a divot that really didn't deserve it and just taken a huge chunk of earth. But when you're on national TV and you do that shit, you're going to catch some flack for it.
Yeah, well, so he caught flack for that and the antics, but also in an interview on the tour, this was actually started by Rory McIlroy, but Rory said something to the effect of the tour needs to be a little leaner, have less guys competing for, less tour cards and less guys competing, the best of the best, etc. And they asked Wyndham that same question, and he said it would make it. He said, I think it'd be amazing if our tour was 100 guys. And then the quote tweets and some of the comments were hilarious. And so this guy at DSteen311, Wyndham Clark is the worst kind of piece of shit. Didn't break through until he was 30 years old, and now that his status is safe, wants to fuck over as many others as possible. Dude is a despicable scumbag. If you weren't sure who the bad guys were, this is Exhibit A. And then some of the other comments, didn't he also want $100 million to go to LIV? Yes, and they only offered him 50, and now so he pretended to start caring about legacy.
Well, so then I posted a TikTok, a green screen about Wyndham yesterday, and got a lot of What a moron, total lack of respect for the tournament and the golf course. And then I got this idiot that, see, and okay, so can we discuss real quick, what side are you on of the rule of being able to take it out of a divot?
So I'm on the side that I think there's somebody up way smarter than me about the rules of golf that needs to figure it out. But I also know that it opens up the can of worms. It opens up is not worth it.
You want to play a 6-hour round of golf so every dude can call a rules official over and identify that that's a divot and that's not a divot, or that's a, that is where, and we got this comment on our TikTok. He said, who cares? The PGA Tour should fix these stupid rules. All the balls in the fairway should get a drop if they are in a divot. Yeah, in a perfect world, probably. But the can of worms, like you said, that it would open is just something you could not come back from. Like, there's so many things that you bring into play, and it's just the rub of the green, dude. Like, hypothetically, pardon the pun. But you're going to hit great shots and end up in shitty spots. That is golf. That's always been golf, and that will continue to be golf. So fucking put your big girl pants on and don't be wrecking Bay Hill at fucking Arnold Palmer's rolling over in his grave watching that shit. Arnold Palmer had respect. He smoked cigarettes, wore cardigans, had respect for the golf course.
Created the fucking greatest drink of all time.
Oh my God.
Non-alcoholic, but greatest drink of all time.
Well, you throw vodka in there, it's goated.
Yeah. Isn't that called the John Daly?
Well, yeah, technically he trademarked it. But yes, the Arnold Palmer is probably top 5 non-alcoholic beverages of all time.
Yes. The top 2, not 2 beverage of all time is Coors Light.
Ooh.
If you need a minute to chill, we always know that you can bust out a Coors Light. I've got this beautiful like Coors rodeo shirt on.
I will say the Coors merch is almost as good as their beer. Like the merch is unbelievable.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of Coors Light merch. Coors Light is by far our favorite beer. We've always been drinking it on the golf course. They've got the twist off cans that are perfect. You throw 6 of them in a cooler. We got the bucket right here in front of us, those little bottles. I'm not a big bottle guy in general. I don't know why. It just like feels like it's harder to drink out of.
There's something I like about having like 3 fingers on the neck of a bottle though, and just like tossing it back. Like that kind of hits for me. The way you drink it also, like I think has an effect. Why is that funny, Marissa? Let's hear it. 3 fingers on the neck.
No comment.
No, she's making fun of me.
Oh, for what?
For the way I drink it.
Oh.
Like, because I probably just like kind of like tight lip it a little bit and try to not
Wow. I was just laughing because I think the show's great, but
this
make
is
it
how
about
I
yourself.
this is how I drink this is how I hold a bottle and I drink a bottle of beer. If you're not on the YouTube, check out the YouTube.
No, see,
but you're some fucking barbarian that full hands it and like, oh.
Yeah, who holds the neck of it like that?
That grown men that know how to drink.
Oh, I think we're going to have
Pinkies
to.
up.
Yes, exactly. I can. Oh, wow.
Your pinky is your last finger, in case you were wondering. But get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Also want to tell you guys about our friends over at Bet365. Before we talk about Abe Ancer's win on the LIV Tour, we also won a little bit of money on Bet365 on the LIV Tour, and I think that's where we're going to continue our betting once they're back in a month. Use that code ALLCITY when you sign up, and you get a choice between 2 different offers. First bet safety net of $1,000, meaning you get to place a bet of up to $1,000. If it doesn't hit, they give you that back in bonus bets, and you get another shot. You get a rebound. You're Nikola Jokic. Shoot your own shot. You get a rebound. If you miss it, you put it right back in. Or you get to choose $5, bet $5 and get $150 when you sign up with that code ALLCITY in all caps. Each way betting is great. We did the each ways 1 through 12. Unfortunately, none of our PGA Tour picks hit. Cam Young had a horrible Sunday. Couldn't even sneak into the top 12, unfortunately. But both of our LIV picks, Cameron Smith, he ended up getting into a playoff with Abe Ancer, so his each way 1 through 12 hit. And then my pick of Bryson DeChambeau, he was also in the top 12, so that hit as well. We made our money back on the LIV Tour. Maybe that's where, money, LIV Tour, those things just go hand in hand. So maybe we'll start using our Bet365 picks more on the LIV Tour. You must be 21 plus to use Bet365 and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's talk a little bit about the other PGA Tour event before we talk about LIV and the Puerto Rico Open. Of course, opposite field event, but a great chance for somebody that's fighting for their tour card to end up getting it. And that's what happened with Bryce Garnett. He made $720K, which going back to what we talked about, Scottie Scheffler made $4 million. Arnold Palmer's on-course earnings for his entire career were $3.6 million. So Scottie Scheffler in his own tournament, in Arnold Palmer's own tournament, made more money than Arnold Palmer made on the golf course specifically in his entire career. Pretty insane, but cool for Bryce Garnett to go down to Puerto Rico and collect $720K. Also has his tour card for another 2 years, which is huge for a guy like that. Even though Wyndham Clark doesn't want him to be there, now Bryce Garnett's going to be on the tour for 2 more years.
Yeah, this is actually his first PGA Tour start of the season. And there's been a lot of scuttlebutt. I've been using that word a lot lately. I like it. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt about all these lower level tour guys not being able to get starts because they're getting pushed out of all these exclusive events. What are they called again? I fuck this up every time. The elevated. No.
Yeah. Elevated.
Okay. They're called
signature.
Signature. Okay. They're signature this year. Sorry. So all these dudes, like Bryce Garnett's a 10+ year veteran. I've been hearing his name for forever, but this was legitimately the first start of his year with a PGA Tour card. So a lot of these lower level dudes are kind of getting fed up. There's an interview with Rafa Campos like a couple weeks ago where he was like, I flat out don't feel like I'm a part of the PGA Tour. Like I have my tour card, but there's so many limited starts that you can make now because a lot of these fields are restricted to a certain amount of players, a certain ranking. And it's like that. I mean, all these guys talking about moving the tour to 100 guys. Well, for half of the season, they basically are. Like these dudes are trying to win events that you don't even give a shit if you play in or not. So why, like, I don't think Rory and Wyndham and these guys understand that all these lower level dudes are still playing golf on TV when you're not. Like, do you want to play fucking every week for 7 months? I don't think so. Like that just, so think about it like that too. Like Bryce Garnett, once again, first start of the year goes out and wins. Now he's in the players. He's got a few other exemptions. So huge W for him. And in all honesty, the finish to the Puerto Rico Open was 10 times better than the finish at the Arnold Palmer. Like, yeah, it's fun to watch Scottie just stripe it and make everything he looks at, but there was an actual playoff in the Puerto Rico Open. So fun golf to watch, and just happy for a vet like Bryce Garnett that is now, and that's another thing that with the lack of events that these lower level dudes can play in, it makes it that much harder. Like I said, once again, no middle class. These dudes on the lower level, it is so hard for them to come up into the higher level because they don't have exemptions into these big events. So now Bryce Garnett has got his shot to go play in the players, which notoriously has like the biggest purse on the PGA Tour. So hopefully we'll root for him there and he can make a fat check this week.
Yeah, and so he, like you said, it went into a playoff, went 4 holes in the playoff.
Whoa.
But he ended up birdieing the 4th and final playoff hole. And let's see, he missed a birdie putt on the 18th hole and was able to win it in the playoff. So Bryce Garnett now has status on the PGA Tour for 3 years. Like you said, he's getting into the players. He's getting into the Masters this year. Just an all-time big thing for him. He hasn't won since 2018, and he won the Corrales Punta Cana. So he's a big non-American golf guy.
He's basically Tony Finau.
Oh, wow.
I just love saying that shit because it just ruffles the right kind of feathers for me. But yeah, he loves winning outside of America. Loves winning those opposite field events. So
maybe we need Bryce Garnett on the Ryder Cup team the next time the United States goes outside of the U.S.
There we go.
Plays on European soil.
Maybe he could play in the President's Cup. Maybe he could be like celeb for the international team. So whenever they play, or he just play the U.S. team, and only on opposite years when they're not playing in America.
Yes. So every other year he gets a spot in the President's Cup.
Every 4 years.
Every other year.
No.
Oh,
They
no.
play it every other
Yeah,
year.
I get what you're saying.
The math is not mathing for you.
No, it's not. All right, let's move on to Abraham Ancer winning LIV Golf Hong Kong at Hong Kong Golf Club's Fang Ling course in Shengshui.
Quite the mouthful.
You know, I don't proofread before I actually come out with it. Ironically, did you end up seeing what he shot on Sunday?
No.
He was 2 over par on Sunday. So he had a 5-shot lead, similar to Scheffler, just dominating. He had a 5-shot lead going into Sunday.
Oh, wait, they don't play Sunday.
Well, technically it was Sunday because of the time change.
Oh, okay.
The final round. How about that? He had a 5-shot lead.
That was kind of a funny joke, dude.
Yeah, it was a good joke.
Thank you.
He had a 5-shot lead going into the final round and ended up shooting 2 over 72. Paul Casey and Cameron Smith fired 64 and 66 respectively to tie him. But then
I forgot Paul Casey played golf.
Dude, I know. There's so many guys on the LIV Tour that are not your John Rahms, your Cam Smiths, your Bryson DeChambos that were very good players in their own right for a while and now they're not near as, obviously most players aren't near as known on the LIV Tour, but that's a guy right there, Paul Casey, that had every year one of us would pick him to win the Masters or some stupid shit and he would falter. But
I think what you're talking about is every single player on the Majestics.
Oh, just a shot at the Majestics.
I think it's like Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood, just a bunch of washed up. Nah, I actually love both those guys, so I'm not talking shit, but I also kind of am because they are very washed at this juncture. And if Ian Poulter wasn't the team captain, he would have been relegated, I think, which is just ironic. Yeah, we talked about at the end of the last LIV season because captains can't get relegated, but he's just had a royal dog piss down his legs. So that shit's funny. But yeah, Paul Casey, every once in a while, like, have you ever seen that dude just hit buttercut after buttercut? And you're like, holy shit. He's almost like an Alex Noren before Alex Noren. I see Paul Casey and Alex Noren like Spider-Man meme. Like didn't
Paul Casey used to have the like Nike blades?
He
like
was
similar to Tiger Woods. He had the very Tiger Woods look when Tiger was good.
Yeah, and his swing, like he swings so hard left through impact that his club is like releasing around his left hip. Like I've never seen a club exit lower and around somebody than Paul Casey.
I'm so jealous of that. That's the move I want to make. Like,
and it just looks so like put together and so pure. And he's not like flipping it out, releasing way away from his body and fucking hitting those big snipers like Xander Schauffele. He just hits it so fucking pure and just baby cuts all day.
Just baby cut after. What did Joe call it? We got a great interview coming up on Wednesday. Pinch cut.
Yeah, a little pinch cut.
He's like,
I think people call it a pinch cut because you tee it up lower, like you were talking about. And when I was playing out in South Carolina, we were experimenting with the low teed pinch cut. What I can't afford to do is hit that shot because I already hit it too short. So I got to fucking swing it I got to tee it up as high as my knee and try to hit it like it's a low and away slider. Like I just got to fucking reach for it and swing as hard as I can. So I can't afford to hit that pinch cut, but a guy like Joe Zawoski, who's consistently swinging at 120 plus, can afford to really dial it down and hit that pinch cut.
Yeah, so on the team side, which everybody cares about, Bryson DeChambeau, captain, Crushers GC, won for a second consecutive week. So they're just going to be collecting more checks, snapping necks and cashing checks on crushing necks and cashing checks is what I should have said.
Oh, well done.
I would have been better off with that. But quote from Bryson, "We know with 4 scores counting, we're going to be in it no matter what on the last day. We put the pedal to the metal yesterday and showcased who we are."
What a fucking bit this dude lives in. Like what kind of what is his issue? Like he's got so many of them. Do you think he'll compete at any majors this year?
I do, actually. Going back to
that was quick.
Going back to last year and watching from Full Swing and one of my favorite things about Full Swing is reliving the majors because that's kind of what they really put a lot of their time into.
Yeah.
And then the episodes and the offshoots of that come out when the player stories and who they're following around, of course. But it goes back to the majors, and I almost forget not necessarily who won. Some of the cases, I'll admit, I don't remember who won, but you forget how they won or how dominant Brooks Koepka was at the PGA Championship.
Yeah.
And it kind of lets you relive the really important moments in golf from the past year. So shout out to Full Swing for that. But I do believe Bryson DeChambeau is going to compete, because the way I look at it, and I'm still standing by this fact, is I do think that LIV players will win at least 2 majors this year. Obviously, Joaquin Niemann is going to be up there in all of them, or have a shot. He has a legitimate shot. John Rahm has a legitimate shot. Cam Smith has a legitimate shot.
Phil Mickelson.
I don't think.
Don't laugh at that shit. He won the PGA 2 years ago.
I know, but he shot
T2
82
at the Masters.
He shot 82 in the first round in Hong Kong.
I don't give a fuck.
He was worse than Anthony Kim.
He doesn't care what he shoots in Hong Kong. Do you imagine what kind of partying Phil Mickelson would do in Hong Kong? The amount of designer drugs that are over there that he was probably into. He's got to weigh like $130 now. He is just rail thin. I kind of want to have this phase. I don't know if I'm ever going to have kids or not, but he seems like he's in that phase where his kids are grown and he's just like back to partying. Like he's basically an 18-year-old in a 55-year-old's body.
Yeah, that would be a fun time, because then you got money, especially like guys like that.
He's swimming in it.
They got real money.
He's drinking that fake-ass coffee energy bullshit and then just hitting the sauce extremely hard.
Yeah, speaking of Anthony Kim, who got 50.
Speaking of drugs.
Whoa. Got 50th place this LIV event, but did shoot 5 under 65 on Sunday, making 7 birdies and 2 bogeys. So maybe
he
he's
found
back.
it, dude. He's back. He's all the way back.
LIV has actually a month off. So they're taking
these dudes are like, see you in June.
Yeah, they're taking the next month off. They will return for LIV Golf Miami at Trump National Doral April 5th through 7th, leading into the Masters. So the week before the Masters, these guys will go tee it up again at Miami.
The Masters is over a month away. I thought it.
I guess it seems like they're off the rest of March, so 3 weeks essentially. In the first week of April, they're back. So first week of April, LIV Golf will be back. We can go back to making money on the Bet365 app. All right, before we finish this pod up, we're going to do our weekly segment of Mulligan of the Week. A good old Monday Mulligan of the Week, breakfast ball, whatever you want to call it. Do you want to lead us off this week, or you want me to lead us off?
Yeah, no, I got it. I fucking stubbed my toe so hard. I was trying to shut off your fish tank light back on your fish. I turned off all the other lights. Your fish tank light was still on. It's in a little bit of an inconvenient spot, and your son's baby Bjorn, fucking tell your 8-month-old son to move his shit, to pack up his shit and keep it straight, because I just jammed my foot. And like my middle toe, I have weird feet. No surprise there. My middle toe is so far like inward from like my second toe. It's much shorter. So I have no idea how my middle toe met this metal frame before any other toes. But it was legitimately one of those where I hit it so hard that I was like hopping around in the, and you stub your toe and you have to just like, I was like, I just absolutely MFing that baby Bjorn. And then I was like, you know what? I'm probably just being a pussy. This was like, I was like, nothing's wrong. I just stubbed my toe and I'm probably not hurt. And then I look and my toenail's like half off and it's bleeding. I was like, okay, so I actually really fucked up my toe.
Yeah, and you actually gained a lot of respect from me in that aspect, because you came up and told me you stubbed your toe, and I was like, oh, this guy. Like, I thought the same thing you did. Like, your tip of your toe is a little red. And it just hurts.
Yeah.
And then I saw how fucked up your toenail was, and I was like, oh, wow, you fucking soccer kicked that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know I step heavy, but fuck me. Like, that thing was moving into that baby Bjorn. But then I got in bed last night, and the first thing, I clipped the toenail on the sheet and like ripped it halfway off. And I don't want to like make people cringe, because I know that shit's very cringy. But then I just had to like eliminate the toenail. It's not all. It's just like halfway down.
Oh,
it's just like it's not gone.
It's a thumb toe.
Yeah, it's very thumb toe-ish. It's it's fucking gross. So that's my just need to watch where I'm fucking stepping.
Yeah. My mulligan of the week also semi has to do with my kid, but first of all, Costco, great place. I'm all in. Went there today.
I told you, bro.
Great amount of groceries, but for all those dads and parents out there listening, Costco diapers can fucking kick baby Bjorns. They can kick rocks. They're piles of shit, not literally. They don't hold them. The other day, there was a fucking, I caught a whiff, and so I knew what that meant. I had to go into the room, do the whole change scenario. I don't catch a lot of the shits, which is nice. I usually am just a piss changer. But it was definitely a shit. And the worst part is he had a little onesie on underneath his pants. And so you have to take the
like what you want for adults,
correct, like what I ideally want for myself.
Like you want to have buttons under your taint that you just strap in.
Correct. So my ass crack never shows, and it never gets posted on Instagram for my fucking birthday. But so you have to take the pants off, and I start pulling the pants down, and the shit had come out of the diaper and gotten onto the pants. So when I pulled the pants down, it just drug shit all down this poor guy's leg. So immediately, fuck Costco diapers. We had to go straight up and take a bath right after that. Like there was no like,
you just take him in the yard and hose him down.
There was no wiping it off at this scenario. There was shit everywhere. It got on my hands. It was not good. And then I take him into the bath, do bath time, whatever. I actually kind of enjoy it. It's fun.
Dude, he's a lunatic in the bath.
Yeah, he's a fucking psycho in the water. And so then I take him out, and he's in his little towel, and he fucking pukes right on me. So I got the shit storm and then the puke storm back to back, and that was just one of those moments where I was like, fuck, this is no fun.
Yeah, the way you toss him around, though, I'm not surprised he doesn't puke more. Like, you do jostle him quite a bit.
Well,
like,
there's no fucking shaking baby.
No, I'm not saying jostle like fucking, but like, I'm just talking about like you're throwing him in the air, you're dancing with him, all this shit. If you did that with me 15 minutes after I ate, I would also throw up and shit my pants. So you maybe just need to give him a little bit more time after he eats. And like he finishes the bottle, Spencer fucking whips the bottle out of his mouth, and then they just start fucking around. I'm like, dude, give him a little bit to digest. His little baby body can't handle that shit.
That's fair. I'll learn.
Marissa.
All right, Marissa, mulligan of the week.
Mine's not as cool. Actually, yours is disgusting.
Neither
but
of these were cool.
So I get my nails done once a month. That is my thing that I do. And Christian,
Treat yourself.
Yeah,
But they look great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go there, I'm the person, like they're not strict, but they're not very friendly with people who move a lot, which is exactly what I do.
You're fidgety?
Yeah, so they put these little arm hooks on there so I can't move.
You lock in.
Yeah, and they know who I am, so immediately they come out and you stick your hands on there, and it doesn't let me move as much. But
they bring out this like guillotine style shit that you got to put your hands in.
They fucking put you in a straight jacket before they do your nails.
Yes, and this woman is very friendly. Like she always compliments my nails. She's always really nice, but I definitely irritate her. And one of my hands is broken or has been broken, so I can't move it as well. So like I have to shift my whole body over, and really irritates her because she doesn't want the nails to get ruined before I stick them in the little tray that like dries them. And so she had just finished with my hand on this, and she's taking forever, and there's a bunch of people that are waiting to come in, and she's flipping my hand to keep me still and stuff like that. And as I go to pull it down, my arm like is asleep because they're sitting like this, so it like dies on me for a second, and I scrape my nails all the way across the like the towel, and all of them get messed up. And she like looks at me for a second, and when like someone looks at you and they're thinking of a 1,000 ways to kill you. Yeah, that's what she's doing at me. And then she immediately starts speaking
a different language.
Yes, and she's like, and
talking
all the
shit
women
about you.
Yeah, all the women in there are like looking at me, and then I feel really stressed out because and I'm like apologizing, and she won't look at me. Her friendliness has gone away, and then she like pulls my arms really tight, and she has me like this the entire time, and even like I needed to sneeze or anything, she'd give me the dirtiest look, and so I just waited. But I did tip her a lot.
Oh my, okay. I was gonna say you got to take care of her, but number 2, I don't think you can ever go back there again.
Oh, I will.
I think you've ruined it for yourself and for them.
If I lived by that rule my entire life, I wouldn't be able to go back to the gym.
You're like, I can't go anywhere.
Yeah. So
no, that's actually a very good February 4. There's nothing worse than mulligan of the week. I'm sorry. Shut up. When your hand falls asleep or something and you just have no control over it, that is so fucking weird. Like you just can't control your own extremities. Wild shit.
Yeah. The concept of a body part falling asleep it's something that I dove deep into on the airplane last time because my arm was asleep. And
some people do that shit on purpose.
Yeah.
Stranger danger.
What is it? We won't get into that. All right, that wraps it up for us for this Monday Winner's Circle edition episode. We will be back Wednesday live at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do quick golf chats back and forth. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. We'll figure that out on Wednesday.
Just some golf chats.
But then we do have an interview. Thanks to Joe Zawoski for hopping on with us. He will be on. We will play that interview right after our intro on Wednesday. Make sure to tune in for that. If you're following us on all the socials, great. If you're not, at Big Drive Energy on Twitter and TikTok, Big Drive Energy Pod on Instagram. I'm Big Drive Spence. He's at Big Drive Mitch. We have Marissa Saez11 on Twitter. I think that's right. Go follow all of us. Make sure you're tuning in on the YouTube. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Helps us out a lot. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Peace.